Hi there! So today we're going to talk about how to find tax and tip. I'd like to start today's lesson with a joke. Of course it's going to be great because all of the jokes we say in math are great. Here it is. How are mathematicians like the Air Force? You think you know it? We're going to come back to that in just a bit after we complete our notes on tax and tip. So, last week we talked about discount, and that's what the notes are turned to today. So, in your foldable, so make sure you have your consumer math foldable ready, we're going to open to the section that talks about tip and tax. So, let's talk a little bit about what tax and tip are. So, tax is imposed by the government. It's what's used by our state and federal government to pay for things like schools and roads and things that keep us safe and protected, like our armed forces and our police and our firefighters. Tips, on the other hand, they're a small amount of money given to someone for performing a service. It is oftentimes called a gratuity. So a small amount of money we give someone to say thank you for doing such a great job. So tax is what is added to items that we might buy at a store. Tips are usually given to your server, or perhaps someone that helps you, your driver if ever you order a pizza. It's given to them just to say your thank you. You appreciate their service. So to say thank you. So let's talk about how we find both tax and tip. Now, even though they are separate things, the process for finding them is the same. And steps 1 and 2 should look very familiar to us. Number 1, convert the number to a decimal. Number 2, let me circle that. Convert the percent to a decimal. Remember that's that 2 move jump to the left. Step 2, multiply the cost of the item or service by that decimal. If you're just asked to find the amount of tax or the amount of tip, you're done. But step 3, if you're asked to find the total is a big buzzword that means add, you're going to add the tax or tip to the original amount. So let's look at an example. Mark wants to leave a 15% tip, circle that, for his server. If his meal costs $12.75, how much, and it just says, let's underline that last sentence, how much tip, that's it, should he leave? So our first order of business is to determine which decimal is equivalent to our percent. So we first need to find out what 15% of $12.75 is. Well, 15%, remember percent means out of 100, so this means, I'm going to pull this out, 15 over 100 or 15 hundredths. We've already talked about how because our number system is based on a base 10 system, that decimal point is going to be directly related to our power of 10 that we're using. We're dividing by 100, so we get to move that decimal point 2 places, 1 for every 0 and 100. Every percent has a decimal point at the end of it. That's going to get bumped 2 units to the left. So to determine how much tip Mark should leave, he's going to take this decimal, 15 hundredths, and multiply it by $12.75. So if you're watching this video, now would be a great time to press pause and take a few moments to do this, and then check it to make sure that you're right. You can use a calculator. So when I put that in my calculator and multiplied 1,500 times 12 and 7/500ths, I got the following decimal. Now we know that money goes to the hundredths place. This 1 is in the hundredths place. So we'll stop right there. This 2 is 4 or below, so we're going to leave 1 alone. And our question, how much tip should Mark leave? The answer to our question is $1.91. Now, if the question had asked how much will he pay total for his meal, it doesn't. We would have to take $1.91 for his tip and add it back on to the original price. All right, so look at the answer to our riddle that we started the session with. How are mathematicians like the Air Force? They both use lots. Get it? Pilots, 3.14, a lot. Very cool, very clever. Thank you. Have a good day, and I will see you tomorrow.